What is up, Need for Speed Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut, and we're here with the Ferrari Testarossa for A+. I've already built this car once. I've been driving it a little more recently, and I had to do a couple of tweaks. It's faster, it's got more power, and it's amazing. Check out the gameplay footage at the end. I do 200 mile an hour in this car with a little bit of redline tech. It'll do about 196 just full bore, but if you ease off that throttle and just let it get to redline without bouncing, it'll do 200. In the speed races, this car is king. You can build it another way to give it a higher top speed than what this one has, but that way is really sluggish. It just doesn't do what it needs to. With this, you can run second and third gear on most everywhere, and then when you need it, you get above 150 and you want to click into that top gear and just start walking people down, you've got it there. So for the short track, second and third gear, for the long highway races, because there's a couple playlists in A+ that are highway runs, and so this car just slays. Check it out, you guys. Let's dig in. It's Ferrari week. Build 3. It's actually a Ferrari this time. Alright, so for the engine in this car, you guys, we are running the 4.9 liter V8. It's all the way to the left. It is the basic iron, 225 brake horsepower when it starts. From there, we're going to go into the parts. You are going to be running Sport Bronze Induction. You will be running the Elite Platinum ECU. You're going to be running basic iron fuel system. You are going to be running Sport Bronze Exhaust. You are going to be running Elite Platinum Single Turbo. That single turbo is what gets us up to 192, but real talk, it'll do 200. I got proof. This thing is amazing. With the other, anything else for the most part, stay away from the centrifugal. It's a lie. It is not good. It is not good. All the rest of them, they say they do about 176, and the car kind of gets stuck right around 180. With this one, just walks them down, does 200, and it's like, let's go. So single turbo, you guys. We're doing just basic or Sport Bronze Nitrous, but it's, you know, what comes in the car. We are doing the Elite Road Suspension, Platinum. We are doing Bronze Sport Brakes. We are doing Elite Grip Tires. This car handles really well as long as you're not just full throttle. If you're kind of easing into the throttle, rolling into the corners and stuff, this turns really, really well. And with a grip boost, this car hooks just fine. Very predictable. It's very, very planned. I like this car quite a lot. And then next we've got the Bronze Sport Clutch. You are running the 4-speed transmission. It's good for you manual players. If you're learning, this is a good car because you're really only clicking to fourth after 150 mile an hour. Everything else is second and third. Just bounce between the two, and then when you got that straightaway, click into fourth and go. It's pretty good. You are running the Elite Platinum differential. For the auxiliaries, I'm running nitrous grip, nitrous near miss. Handling, run the slider all the way to the left, 100% grip. Steering sensitivity, I'm 3 clicks high on this one. So from center, 1, 2, 3. Downforce, I'm running it all the way low. The car is very predictable. I didn't feel like it needed any additional downforce on that side of things, but having it on the low side allows the car to accelerate a little faster and just feel a little better on the top end. So I would encourage you guys to run it low. You can run it all the way high if you want. If you find yourself getting a little out of control, it's not doing what you want, try that. Traction control off. Drift entry is off. That is going to give you the 1984 Ferrari Testarossa Coupe with one mirror. The most frustrating thing in the world is that single mirror. I don't know why they do that way. And there's no nice way for me to change that. Like if it did two weird mirrors coming off the car, okay. No mirrors, great. Dangly weird mirror. Don't love it. 748 horsepower. Max torque 845. Quarter mile is 12.3. 0 to 60 is 4.5. With this transmission and the turbos, you're losing about half a second, 0.6 of a second on the acceleration, and all of that is in the 0 to 60 side of things. I'll show you what I mean. So if you go and you change that turbocharger to a supercharger, you go from 4.5 to 3.9. So, and then you go from 12.3 to 11.6. That 0.6 of a second is all found in the 0 to 60 time. You only do 0 to 60 one time in this game, you guys. If you get a perfect launch, ignore those stats. This car is just fine. Don't worry about the acceleration. It does good. Get a perfect launch. Leave everybody in the dust. I like this car quite a lot. Other than that, it's solid. Stay tuned for the gameplay footage. If you have the other build of this car, I would encourage you guys to go and rebuild this one. Just make a few changes to it. It's really, really good. It's one of my personal favorites for the A+ class. There's some other cars that are very competent, very good, but most of them only do about 165, 170. And when you've got something that will legitimately do 200 miles an hour, you end up walking down a lot of stuff. You only need a little bit of a straightaway to go catch them. So there's a few tracks where they're, tight twisties and you never really get to use fourth gear or get the legs on the car, but it's still very competent. But as soon as you get one of those playlists that's got like the highway, you just walk away from everybody. And so in one of the clips, I crashed multiple times. Just goofing around, I was talking with people on comms, whatever. I end up walking down the guy that's in front of me, and I'm going so fast that I rear end him and get a takedown mid-race and still just keep on going, because there's that much of a speed differential between where he's at in his Skyline and me in this thing. So just try it, you guys. This car is a slayer. Other than that, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm Alex Cornnut, your wheelman. Have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see you later. Take a look at the gameplay footage. Bye-bye. You'll notice that I'm only racing one other guy in this clip. I have trouble getting playlists in the morning when I want to shoot gameplay. When I'm on stream, no problem. Fill it up. But when it's just me trying to do gameplay footage, it's a little tough. So I launched the car in second gear and just take out. This is not a flawless race by any means. I was actually just kind of goofing, talking with a few other guys on the comms this morning, and just figuring stuff out when I was getting this footage. But you'll see that we click into fourth gear. We're already right now doing what a lot of the other cars top out in this particular class. And so now we are just going for it. We are walking away from the gentleman behind us pretty quick. Like, you'll see the yards are just going up very fast. I was trying to get near misses to just climb in speed. As it turns out, that van was a little closer than I wanted. So we click out of third at about 145-ish, and then get into fourth gear right about there. And then fourth gear will carry you from 145 all the way to about 200. Getting some pretty bad clips, like hitting some traffic, getting thrown off the track. It's whatever, though. I have no worries about walking down my opponent here, because I know that Skyline only does about 170, 180 at the most, depending on how he's got it tuned. And it looks fairly stock. Had a stock license plate. So we'll see. I think he probably gets hit with a little traffic up here because he kind of does slow down quite a lot. But we're gaining on him very handily. Now watch this. I'm like, you know what? Let's just give him a little boost. Dink. We'll take him down, though. That's fine. So we're going 198, you guys will see right there. I'm doing a little red line tech, meaning that I take the needle and I get it as close to the top of the red line without bouncing. If it's bouncing, you're going to go slower. If you can get it to the very top of 4,500, 4,900, you'll get it to go 200. Every time it bounces, it takes you down. But if you can get it to not bounce and just stay right there at the top, it'll click into 200 mile an hour, which is amazing for A+. Alright, for this clip, I got my boy Fia to come and hang out with us. It was a situation where I was like, man, I'm having trouble keeping people in the playlist because I'm winning. He's like, oh, I'll come and race with you at least once. So we get off to a really good start there. We're in second gear. He's running the Crown Vic. That car will do about 200 mile an hour in a A+ trim. It's just not super good at accelerating or literally anything else. But he knew we were going to be doing a highway run, so he wanted to get something fast. But that's the difference between a very good car and a car that has a good stat. It's got a good top speed stat, but it just never gets there. Whereas we're doing 180 in the corners here. Now we're doing 194, bouncing off the rev limiter. This thing slays, doing a little red line tech. 195, we're creeping up. This car is so fast. You will, if you lose a speed race in this car, you lost to another one of these cars. That's the only explanation I can think of, because I don't think there's much faster cars in the A+ playlist. There it is, 200 mile an hour. Gosh, this thing is just a mammoth. It's so fast. I love it. It's one of my favorite cars for sure. If you build it with the supercharger, it's a little better on the acceleration side, but it doesn't do 200. And just having a car that actually does that in the A+ class is really, really fun for me. Makes me happy. Puts a smile on my face. So I'm not really worried about getting lots of nitrous because I've got a full bar, so I'm not running in oncoming. I'm 1,200 yards away from FIA, and you know, he's doing what he can to stay ahead or catch back up, but there's just nothing anybody can do at this point. This car is that dominant. So there it is, 200 mile an hour in A+ class. Go do some speed races. Love this car, you guys. It's amazing. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.